this. Move your desks apart. Okay, let's go through the answers. Okay, so the first one is solving an equation. You have to remember how to do that. Do the opposite thing. So if I have a -5 and I want to get rid of it, because I want the answer to be x equals, don't I? So I don't need this -5 and I don't need 2. So I add 5 to both sides to get rid of the -5. I've left 2x here just, and that's equal to 14, 9 plus 5. Divide both sides by 2, because it's 2 times x. I just want one of the x's. 14 divided by 2 is 7. 3 marks for that. If you just wrote the answer, you get 1. If you wrote the answer working out, you get 3. Question 2 then.
But does the working out have to be the extension?
No, just, well, you have to, if you want me to check it afterwards, I will. You can use a different method, that's fine. So in this case, this is substitution. So x is 3, y is 2. So x is 3, y is 2. So I replace the x with 3, replace the y with 2, and add 3 down at the end. So 2 times 3 is 6, minus 3 times 2 is also 6. Add the 3. These two cancel, I think, to give a total of 3. 6 take away 6, 0 plus 3. Next question. Find the formula for the following input-output table. So input is x, output is y. Input's always on top, output's on the bottom. My formula must include those 2 letters. It'll be y equals, because y is the output. That's should be the case. And then I have to look at what patterns occur in the table. I start to notice that between the first and second terms, when I sub in 1 and sub in 2, there's another 4 being added. So the rule, if you want, is to add 4. A rule of adding 4 multiple times means multiplication of 4, of course. An addition, a repeated addition is a multiplication if it's the same number. So you can multiply by 4. The input will be multiplied by 4, so write that as 4x. But then we need to figure out how far we are away from the answer. So 4 times 1 gives 4, not 5. 4 times 2 gives 8, but we want 9. So we're always 1 away. So if we add 1, that would be correct. Test your formula. 4 times 4 gives 16, plus 1 gives 17. Okay, it works for that one. You can write this as x times 4 or 4 times x with the multiplication sign, but it's better to write 4x like that. That's the proper algebraic way without the times multiplication symbol. Luna?
I don't want to interrupt the other one, but for the other one, I'm confused. For 2x, that would be 6, right?
Yep.
Why isn't it opposite? Because I remember learning, like, normally the minus would be plus because it would be opposite.
You're thinking about solving there. You need to do the opposite to get rid of it. And solving is different than substitution. Substitution, you have the answer. You're not trying to find it. So you just put in the answer as normal and just work it out. So it's different. You don't need to do anything the opposite. Okay, first area and perimeter question. This is called a compound shape because it is not a known shape. We don't know the name of this shape. But we do know that if we split it, it is made up of 2 rectangles. So I'll split it here. You can split it somewhere else. You'll get the same answer. So there are 2 shapes I do know, rectangle and rectangle. This top one is 4 times 3. The width is 4, the length is 3, or whichever way you want to say it. So I have 4 times 3 to give 12 centimeters squared of this top bit. The bottom bit then, well, that's a width of 10 and a length of 4. So that's 4 times 10. That gives 40 centimeters squared. And I combine them then to get my composite shape, 52 centimeters squared. Okay. I also, that's the area, sorry. I also need to get the perimeter. Hopefully you didn't forget, like I almost did. The perimeter then is defined as the total distance around the outside of the shape. So I'd have to add all these distances around the outside of the shape. There is a quickish way. but we'll just literally add all the distance. I'll just say P for perimeter is 8 plus 10 plus 4 plus 7 plus 4 plus 3. I think if you add all those up, you get 36 centimeters. You can check that out. There's my two answers. Do notice the way I'm putting boxes around my answers to clear everything up a little bit. Might be an idea to keep things neat and tidy so I don't have to try and find where the answers are. Next question is the area and circumference question. Yeah.
If you don't do the method, how much more is that?
If you don't write any method,
Then you have the right answer.
you get half marks. You have to have a method. If you don't have a method, you just have the answer. Did you guess that? Did you see it on someone else's paper? If there's a method there, you know what you're talking about. So even if it's obvious multiplications, do write a method. All right, area and circumference of this. So circumference is the special name we give to a perimeter of a circle. So circumference, C, and here's the formula here, is pi, which is 3.14, times the diameter, which is given here as 12. So we just need to do a straight multiplication. You can use a calculator in this exam, so use it. And I think you get 37.68 as our circumference. And if it's in, it's in meters. The area then, also need to get, which is pi times the radius squared. So pi, still 3.14 times, well, the radius then is, diameter is 12. There's two radiuses in that, so they're both must be 6. So the radius is 6 squared. Now that's 6 times 6, not 6 times 2. 6 times 6, not 6. So you can rewrite that if you want as 6 times 6. But whatever you do, you can type it into your calculator. Hopefully you did that. And you get 113.04 meters squared is the area. Eva.
For the circumference and the area, I got like a little bit more than what it was. For example, the circumference, I got 37.69 instead of 68. And for the area,
Yeah, so your answer is probably a bit more accurate because I've rounded it to 2 decimal places. If you use the pi button on your calculator, you're going to get a slightly different answer. I'll accept all answers that round to within the same whole number. If you've rounded it to a whole number, don't unless I ask for it to the nearest whole number. 2 decimal places in general is any answer. 2 decimal places. And I'll accept if you use the pi button versus 3.14, I accept both answers. So there will be a slight difference because of rounding. Okay. Next page. So hopefully you did well on that page. Next page, you may recognize this as a question from your exam. Rotation. Rotate the following object 90 degrees anti-clockwise. So anti-clockwise, the clock ticks this way. So anti-clockwise must be the other way, going around that way. All right. 90 degrees, that's a quarter turn of our paper when we do it with tracing paper. And the coordinate of the center, minus 2, 1. Minus 2, 1 is here. Okay. Nikita?
it said that you would do it in
No, I know, yeah. You didn't. It's there. Did you do it in your book? Okay. That was because this is taken from the exam last year, which was done online. Or the practice exam was done online last year, and I forgot to change that. Okay. There's the center. There's the shape. Most of you got this right in the actual exam, so I won't spend too long on it. I do label it A, B, C, D, or you can call it the object. And rotated anti-clockwise, that's this way, a quarter turn, that's the page's turn, a quarter of the way there. And that's here. So it's right on the line. And go over it again. So this is B dash, A dash, D dash is up here, and whatever the other one was, C dash is here. Join it up. Okay. Yo.
When will we get the results for our test?
You'll get the results today. I won't be handing them back yet because I haven't corrected all the other class yet. Kellen?
Why are there 3 marks for this question?
Why?
Yeah, because I thought it'd be 2.
It's well, it would be 3 either way because 3 rotations need 3 bits of information. You have to interpret 3 bits of information here as well. So the actual rotation itself would be 2, and then the correct labeling would be an extra 1. So if you write object and image, I'd give it to you, or if you wrote this with the dashes, I'd also give it to you. Either's fine. Is that your question answered? Yeah. Okay. All right. The mean. So this is something we've done very recently. I did say show your working. So hopefully, although it was a lot of writing, you did write everything you needed to add together. Okay, everything you need to add together, and then divide by how many of them there are. And I think there was 15 if you count them up. Type this all into your calculator. I think you have 400 and something, 68, 38. So 438 then divided by that 15, and you get 29.2. All right, so I would always check your answer at this stage that it makes sense. Is that in the middle of the data you've collected? Does the average age make sense as 29.2? And I think so, yes, because if we look at the highest and the lowest answers, which we're going to look at in a second, it does seem that 29.2 does make sense as around the middle. A lot of people there in their 20s. Yeah. Calculate the range of ages. So that's the highest age. So that's the highest minus the lowest piece of data, and the highest piece of data was 75. The lowest piece of data, I think, was 6. We subtract them, it's 69. Okay. Calculate the mode. Mode is the one that is there the most. Which one's there the most? 22. 22 is there the most, so 22. The median. Well, there's a couple of ways to do this. The main way to do this is list them all from smallest to biggest. So you do 6, 8, 10. Okay. How many of these do I need to do to get the middle one?
8, 7.
Is it 8? Is it 7? Is it 7.5? Well, first of all, why am I saying 8 and 7? Well, 15 is the number of people. So you know it's the one in the middle.
Yeah.
So what's in the middle of 15?
8.
8's in the middle of 15.
7.
It's actually 8. You were right the first time. 8 would be in the middle of 15. 8 is in the middle of 1 and 15. 7.5 is in the middle of 0 and 15. 8 is perfectly in the middle. So 1 plus 15 is 16. Divide by 2, 8. That's the middle. Perfectly in the middle. So you're looking for the 8th person. What is the 8th person? Now I'll do it the other way, but we'll find that both answers are the same. 6, 8, 10, 18, 20. The good thing when you're dealing with data like this and you're listing them and is to start to knock them off. So 6 I've used, 8 I've used, 10 I've used, 18, 20 I've used. So start to knock them off the data you have. But anyway, I think 21, whatever way you want, 22 3 times, 27, 32, 40, 55, 60, and 75. Now, it is the 8th person. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We expect it to be that person. Let's do it. So we do the other method, which is take one from the start, one from the end, and eliminate them. And we'll get the middle person this way as well. Both methods are fine. And we end up with the same thing. So 22 is the median. What happens if we have 2 numbers in the middle? Yeah, the number in between them, or get the average of those 2, the mean of those 2 particular numbers.
If they're the same, you put the same number.
Yeah, if it's the same number. Okay. Next, on to fractions, everybody's favorite. first one. Okay, so we need common denominator only when adding and subtracting. Only when adding and subtracting. So this is only common denominator only for this one. These two do not need common denominator. All right, Tani. You good? Good. Okay, so what's the common denominator of 5 and 10? The lowest one is 10. You could pick 50 if you want. The lowest one is 10. And that's got to do with multiples as well. The lowest multiple of 5 and 10 is 10. So 1 over 10 is fine. 2 over 5, Carlo, what's that? It's 4/10, yeah. So a couple of ways of doing this. You can do a visual method if you want. Split something up into fifths. So that's, this whole is being split up into fifths. If we have 2 of them, awesome. But then if you say, okay, there's a bar of chocolates, split up into tenths. Okay, I want to cut all these into half then. Okay, how many tenths is now the 2/5? 1, 2, 3, 4. Ah, it's 4. The other way of doing this is to say, well, I doubled the splits, so I have to double the top, double the denominator, double the numerator, and I get 4. Any method like that, it's fine. You can do the cross multiply method and then simplify afterwards. That's also fine. But 4 plus 1 is 5. Do I add 10 and 10? 20? No. 4/10 of a chocolate bar plus 1/10 will give us 5/10 of a chocolate bar. And I can simplify exactly. Divide by 5, top and bottom, and we get 1/2. So always simplify your fractions if you can. Second question. Multiply. You could pre-simplify or post-simplify this. I'm going to show you pre-simplifying, but I presume most of you simplified just at the end. Pre-simplifying works off the fact that 9 is 3 times 3, so instead of multiplying by 3 times 3 and then dividing by 3, I can just say, well, 3 fits into that once, 3 fits into that 3 times, so I'm actually multiplying by just 3 over 1. 2 fits into that once, and 2 fits into that 8 times, the same thing, and I get 1 times 3 on top to give 3, and 1 times 8 gives 8. Now, I presume most of you just did 2 over 3 multiplied by 9 over 16, and then did straight lines. And then simplified afterwards. 2 times 9 is 18. 3 times 16 is 48. Now simplify what divides into both 18 and 48. 6, I think, is the biggest. You can go 2 and then 3, but I think 6 goes straight in. 6 into 18 goes 3 times. I already know the answer, but and 6 into 48. So I get the same answer. Either method's fine. I presume most of you did post-simplification. Next question. If I want to divide, I think of fried chicken because I think of KCF. Keep, change the sign, flip the fraction. Keep the first one. Okay, we keep that the same. Change the sign to multiply. Flip the second fraction, 7 over 5. Let's multiply that out. 7 times 5 gives 35. 6 times gives 30. Simplify again. I think I can divide by 5. And that gives 7 over 6, which is 1 and 1/6. I'll accept both those answers. This is the better one, though. A mixed number is better than an improper. I'll accept both.
For the second question, I didn't simplify fully. I got only 9 out of 24. So
You might lose a mark there.
1 mark.
Okay. Back to solving equations. So a lot of you probably need to practice your fractions, and there's even more difficult fraction questions at the end. There's fractions in the revision. You can check them out after this done. Solve the following equations. Show, all right. Solving equations again. Isolating x. There's 3 types, as Mara, isn't there? Yes. You all right? Okay, there's 3 types. This has kind of a negative in the x. That makes that difficult. This has x's on both sides. That makes that a little tricky. And this has the brackets. So you need to know how to deal with them all. This one, well, that 5 is positive to get rid of it. This is doing the opposite thing, Luna, that you're talking about. Doing the opposite now to solve. This is solving. 5 take away 5 disappears. So I'm left with negative 3x is 5 take away 4. Or 9 take away 5, which is 4. Okay, so negative 3x equals 4. I need to get rid of that negative 3. I don't like it. That's negative 3 times x. Divide by negative 3. Both sides. That fits into that once. X is, I'll accept negative 4 over 3 as written, or I'll accept minus 1 1/3, which is a change to mixed. Many times 3 fit into 4 once, remainder 1, so that's how I got 1 1/3. Or I'll accept the decimal equivalent, minus 1.3 recurring. All good. Next one. Okay, so if you got 4.6, you probably added 5 to both sides. That 5 is positive already, so adding 5 won't work. Eva?
I don't really know what it says, like above D. It said like something there and then equals and that whole thing. What is the first one?
This one?
No, where's the left?
This?
Yeah.
That's an X.
An X. Yeah.
X equals. That's the answer. Okay, yeah, it's a bit small for you guys, but when you watch it back at video, maybe you can check it out better. Next one, solve this. There's x's on both sides. Get rid of that one of those first. There's 2x on one side, 3x on the other side. I usually get rid of the smaller one. So I'm going to subtract 2x. It's the smaller one from both sides. That is gone now. So I'm left with just plus 5 equal to 3x. Take away 2 x's, leaves me a single x, and the 19 is still there. Finish off by adding 19. All right, Jad, both sides. And the x is 24.
Is it okay if I subtract 3x?
Of course. Yeah. Yeah, you can do either as long as you get rid of one or the other. Next one. Brackets. There is a way of solving this without multiplying first, but by rule I'd say just generally multiply out the bracket first is easier. 7 is equal to 4 times 2x, that's 8 x's, and 4 times 5, 20, stays negative. All right, now I just need to solve for x. Maybe add 20 to both sides. That's the 20 gone. So if 27 is equal to 8x, divide both sides by 8. Right, let's write the answer. X is, I'll accept 27 over 8. Or I'll accept, if you want to change that, 8 fits in 3 times, and the remainder 3. So it'll be 8. Or 3.375 if you want to go decimal. I'll accept all 3. Next one. All right, formula, input, output table. Again, this is more difficult because it is not in numerical order. We're not given the first term. We're given the second one. We're not given what you get if you sub in 3. We're given what you sub in 4. If you sub in 5, we're given those answers. So remember, this top line will always be the input. This bottom line will always be the output. Perhaps I can redo this table with the missing numbers. So 1, if I subbed it in, I don't know what it is, so I'm not going to fill that in. But a 2, I got 5 out. 3, if I subbed it in, I don't know what it is. It's not there in the table. 4 is, and I get 13. 5 is also, and I get 17. 6, I'm going to extend my table a little bit. 6, not there. 7 is 25. Okay, so this is probably a better representation of the pattern. What am I adding each time? 4. How do I know that? There's the 2 that are beside each other. That's plus 4. And maybe just make sure that if I add 4 to 5, 9, that works then with 13, adding 4 twice. Yes, it does. 5 plus 4 is 9, plus 4 is 13. It works. So my formula, once again, includes a repeated addition of 4, so that's a multiplying of 4. So A equals, the output equals 4 times the input because of this plus 4. And now I need to figure out, do I need to add or subtract? 4 times 5 is 20, not 17. I'm 3 away. I think I need to go down 3. Test again. Let's test. Let's do this last one. Is A equal to, so I say any test you do, so I'm doing a test. 4 times 12, take away 3. 4 times 12 is 48, take away 3 is 45. Yes, that works. Okay, cool. That's...
Is it okay if you don't do any tests?
Now, yeah, so it just says show any work or tests you do. So if you do a test, just write it in there. If you don't, you don't. That's fine. All right, moving along. Transformations. Are you okay, Malo? Good. All right, so you need to say whether there's transformation. So describe fully the single transformation. Usually 3 marks is a giveaway, 3 things, information needed. First information, what should I write?
Scale factor?
I'll go enlargement.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the type.
Oh, yeah.
It's an enlargement. Something's definitely, it's got bigger from P to Q. How much bigger has it got, Carlo? .5, yeah. So just pick a length. This one is 2 boxes. This one is 2, 4, 5 boxes. So to get from 2 to 5, I need to multiply by 2.5. So it's 2.5. So scale factor 2.5. The last bit of information I need is the center. Center of enlargement. Carlo, what do you think? Well, I could check. I draw my lines. So the top of the shape to the top of the other shape, continue that line. Well, we'll see. The bottom left corner to the bottom left corner, continue that line. The bottom right corner to the bottom right corner, continue that line. No, I think that's going to be at 0, 0 or the origin. So center is 0, 0, or you could say origin. Both are fine. Okay, so for 3 marks, you need to have all those 3. All right, let's move on to the slightly more challenging questions. All right, so solving. Did anyone get an answer for this first one? Solving this equation?
Yeah.
Let's hear them. What'd you get?
I got x equals 2 and 1/3.
2 and 1/3. Anybody else?
X equals 7.
Okay. Anybody else? No?
I got something.
You got something? Probably need to be more specific. No? Okay. Let's see. All right, so let's multiply the brackets. Always with these, if you see brackets, it's a good way to start. Multiply the brackets, we don't want them. So first of all, that's called expanding. When you multiply brackets, it's called expanding. So I have 2x. Now minus 3 into both these. Minus 3x minus 6. Notice the way minus 3 times plus 2 here gives minus 6. 5 times 3 gives 15. 5 times 2x, negative 10x. If I can ever simplify on either side, do that. Simplify first. These 2 terms can be combined to give just negative x. 2x, take away 3 of the x's. Minus 6, 15, minus 10, nothing else. Now I can start solving. So always expand, then simplify with these more difficult ones. All right, I need to get rid of either the negative x or the minus 10x from one side. I usually pick the smaller one. Negative 10x is smaller. So I'm going to add 10x to both sides. That's gone there. And negative x plus 10x is 9x's. Minus 6 still there, 15 there. Right. I need to get rid of minus 6 and 9. I'll get rid of minus 6 first by adding 6. So 9x from here is equal to 21. Okay, and then divide both sides by 9. X is equal to 21 over 9. Now simplify. I can divide by 3. 7 over 3. And then I can simplify 1. 3 fits into 7 twice with a remainder 1. 2 and 1/3. 2 and 1/3. Or 7 over 3 I'll accept as well. All right. Next one. You okay? Next one, another compound shape, because we don't know the name of this shape, but I can split it into two things I do know the name of. You may have heard of rectangle. Maybe, I don't know. And what's this thing called? Semicircle, yeah, it's half of a circle. Okay, so the rectangle is easy. Okay, so rectangle area is 7 times 2. That's 14 centimeters squared. Easy. The semicircle, I need to know the diameter of it. What's the diameter? 4. Yeah, the total length is 7, and 2 is gone here, and 1 is gone here, so there must be 4 centimeters left from here to here. But in order to do area, I just need the radius, don't I? The formula was given on the other page. So the area is going to be, so radius is 2, yeah. Pi times 2 squared. But when I get that answer, I need to divide it by 2, don't I? Because it's half of a circle, not a full circle. Okay, so get out your calculators, do 3.14 times 2 squared, 4, and then divide that answer by 2. I think if you're multiplying by 4, divide by 2, you're just multiplying by 2. 6.28, or if you rounded it differently, 6.29 maybe, and add that to your previous answer, and you get 20.28 centimeters squared. All right. Moving along. Nearly there. Substitution again. If A is 4 and B is 2, so 6 times A is 6 times 4 now, and 2 times B is 2 times 2. 6 times 4 is 24. 2 times 2 is 4. And 24 divided by 4. Chad. 24 divided by 4 is 6. A squared, so A is still 4, so that's 4 squared minus 2. Anyone write 6 as the answer here? No. Remember that 4 with the little 2 is not 4 times 2, it is 4 times 4, which is 16. 16 take away 2 is 14. Okay. All right. Nearly there. Find the formula for this pattern using X as shape number, Y as matches. So if I see something like this, draw the input-output table. In the previous two examples, we had the input-output table drawn for us. In this one, I'm going to have to draw it. You don't have to, but it might make it easier. The first shape, that's shape number 1, has, I think, if you count those matches, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 matches. The second shape, if you count the matches, has 11 matches. Just count them up. Third shape, 16. The fourth shape. Okay. Same thing, same process of finding the formula here. That's 5 more. That's 5 more. That's 5 more. A repeated addition of 5 is a multiple of 5, multiplication of 5. So y will be 5 times x, the input. And, well, 5 times 4 gives 20, not 21. 5 times 3 gives 15, and I want 16. So I'm always just 1 away, add 1. You can test that, but it just asks you to find the formula. And our last 2 fractions questions. There's a number of ways you could do the first one. You could keep them as mixed numbers. You could just do the first 2 first, and then get an answer for that, and then subtract 2.5. That might be easier method. I think it probably would be. But I'm going to try and do it all at once. And to do it all at once, I'm going to have to change them to improper fractions. So changing to improper. Alexa, you know how to do that, yeah? You do? No thanks. That's quite the question I asked. All right. 7 times 2 gives 14, and I add that to the top to give 17. 3 times 4 gives 12. Add to the top gives 14 thirds. 2 times 2 gives 4. Add, oh, it's minus. Add to the top gives 5. Okay, I've changed them all to improper. Now I'm going to find a common denominator. You need to add or subtract tiny, all right? What's the common denominator of 7, 3, and 2? Yeah, good work, Danny. Yeah. Some people can't resist. Yeah, so if you're not too sure, well, that's 6. And if you actually just multiply them all together, you will always get a common denominator. 7 times 3 times 2 is 42. Mine be the lowest one, Quentin, all right? Yeah. Want to sit around properly there? Yeah, good idea. Okay, so common denominator 42. They're all going to be over 42. This first one to get to 42, I think multiply by 6. The second one to get to 42? Yeah, 14, yeah. So you can use your calculator to help with these little multiplications. 2 times 21, I think, is 42. Mallow, are you good?
Yes.
Great. Excellent. 17 times 6. Anybody for 17 times 6?
I did have another way,
17 times 6? 102, yes, because, well, maybe 10 times 6 is 60, and 7 times 6 is 42. Add those together. All right, 102 plus 14 times 14. This is 196?
Yeah.
196.
4 times 4. Why did I get 168? It's not 168. It is 196. Excellent. And 105, I think, is 5 times 21. Isn't it? Okay, so I want to do all this at once. 102 plus 196, that's 298. Take away 105. It's going to be over 42 anyway. And I get 193, isn't it?
Yes.
And then how many times? Well, you can simplify this. How many times does 42 fit into that? I think 4 times, yeah. This is where you can use the calculator. 42 times 4 gives that's 168, is it? 168. What's the remainder then? 193. Take away 168 gives 25, is it?
Some reason I accidentally read 103 and I just messed up.
I'll accept either of these answers. A decimal equivalent. Did anyone get it as a decimal? 193 divided by 42 is around this. Unfortunately, decimals, when we're adding and subtracting fractions, are not acceptable. We want it as a fraction answer. So But if you did do it as decimal, that is the right answer. But okay. Last question then. Multiplication. Change to improper fractions again. 2 times 9 gives 18. Add on top gives 22 over 9. 2 times 5 gives 10. Add that on top, you get 12. Multiply in straight lines, you get 45. Well, 22 times 12, is there a way we can do this? 22 times 10 and 22 times 2. Split it up. 220, 44, 264. 45 fits in how many times? I think 5 times, yeah. 5 times. You can use your calculator to help with that division, but then you'd have to figure out how much is left over yourself. 5 times 45. 225.
That would be 200.
It simplifies down to 5 and 39 over 45. I think.